Hey guys, Sean, Leslie Liver Dummies. I'm back. About 3 shades darker from being in the sunshine for many days and long hours. But TMC, last weekend, in my limited time, I did swap some things around in this, and I managed to hit a very consistent 35 joules of energy, running 1100 psi, but it was one particular round, one particular projectile, round ball, if you will. But in my infinite quest to see what works the best, I've loaded 2 of each round of some of the more popular ones that people are probably using, and the ones that I use in order from heaviest to lightest. So starting with a 9.9 gram riot ball, so it's going to be 2 rounds of each. Then I go to a Grimberg Joule V2, which is 8 grams. Then I have 2 aluminum alien play balls, they're 7.2 grams. A 5 gram riot ball. Then 2 4.6 gram homewrecker busting balls. 2 3.7 gram riot balls, just kind of those nylon cheap balls that you can get off Amazon. Pretty much the same thing. And last but not least, Byrna Kinetics. 2 of those, 2.9 grams. All of these rounds are, I would say, undersized for this lion claw barrel. This is a 14-inch lion claw barrel I have in here. It's a 0.687. The largest ball in here is probably the Grimberg Joule, and the Byrna Kinetics are a 0.684. All the others are 682. So let's just shoot them, see which one turns out the best. And I'm gonna make some changes inside here in between, and then we're gonna go back with whatever the best ball was and see if that minor change made any difference. There won't be any links to any of the parts in this video or springs. I will talk about them and show them, but I don't link anything until I know it's working. This marker has been caulked for an entire week. Normally that would reduce my velocity, so this is going to be the first test where I'm going to see, will it maintain that 35 that I saw so well last weekend. So wire it up and we'll get going. First up is 9.9 gram riot balls. 226. 238. Grimberg Joule V2s. 8 grams. 280. 280. Alien Play 7.2 gram aluminum balls. 292. 290. 5 gram Meanie Greenies riot balls. 374. 370. 4.6 gram homewrecker busting balls. 370. 382. Where are we now? 3.7 gram nylon riot balls. Oh, sorry guys, earthquake, 436. $438. Last but not least, Byrna Kinetics, 2.9 grams. Whoa, even 500. $480. Notice a trend there, guys. I found this to be very indicative of
blowback type marker.
And the lighter the projectile, the higher the muzzle energy. Cue the dogs. As I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by my four-legged family. Lighter the projectile, higher the muzzle energy.
Blowback marker.
Now, there's the age-old argument, heavier is better, and it is to some degree. Can't argue with what my X-Radar says coming out the end of this barrel. Lighter projectiles tend to be less accurate at distance because they are more affected by, external factors like, even if there's a slight breeze, a light projectile can easily be blown off course. If you're shooting through, foliage like tree branches, even just tall grass, a lighter projectile accuracy can easily be affected by that. Not so much with a heavy projectile, but at the distance that we're using these, I'm gonna choose the higher muzzle energy. And in this case, if you didn't notice, the 35 joules I got, or that I spoke about, was with the 3.7 gram riot balls, the cheapies. The Byrna wasn't, I never tested that. That was the first time testing it in this setup. So it did have a higher muzzle energy, but it also had the largest spread there. Now that could just be a projectile thing. So I'm gonna have to retest those once I make some changes here, which we'll get to next. Got her open up here. Let's just talk briefly about some of the obvious things. Things I swear by. So Delrin bolt. This particular one is a Kill House, which I cannot get here in Canada anymore, but Ann's Gear does sell a Warrior 98 bolt and power tube kit that includes this same bolt and a power tube, which you cannot use in the TMC, but it's fine. It's inexpensive. It's like $24 or something. I think that's how much I just paid for this bolt in Canada. That is a must, I think. I think that bolt with the extra seal makes some of the largest difference in FPS. Having that rear seal there really does work. My valve, of course, has a lightened valve spring inside. This valve is drilled just slightly. I'm gonna have to test eventually with, well, I have tested a factory valve with this lightened spring, and I think I saw like a reduction of about 3 joules of energy. So there is a little to be had by drilling, but again, not for the faint of heart. Now here's where everything is different. So I'm using a Tech T lightened hammer. Previous testing, this has produced terrible results. It just fell on its face essentially, but brilliant idea was to jam a bigger drive spring in the back to try and reduce that drop that I see over time from storing the marker in the cock position. So I have this big giant drive spring in here. This is just a random screw, like an elevator bolt or something that I had to use as a stop.
I'm working on what I can do for you guys that would be something you could purchase, because I don't even know this. I think this came off my motorcycle or something. I don't know. But so I'll be trying some different things there. But here is what I've done. So this bolt, sorry, I keep calling it bolt. Hammer, lightened hammer. This weighs about 58 grams. The factory bolt weighs 136 grams. So heavier the bolt, higher the FPS, because it's striking your valve pin longer. Not harder, just it's pressing forward on that valve, allowing more air to travel down your barrel, dwell time, essentially. I wanted to pin this hammer. So this was my stock hammer that I drilled and pinned to extend that strike even more on your valve pin. This hammer, factory hammer, it's about a 1/4 inch thick inside here. So this is solid right to just below the O-ring. So I was able to drill and pin this, no problem. I wanted to pin this one. It turns out this is that striking facer, that little tit, that's all that's there. So if you could look down inside this, you probably can't see. It's actually recessed. So if I drilled and pinned this, the pin would pretty much fall right through. Now I could tap and thread and tap this and possibly, you know, put a screw in there. But here's what I found. After using my upgraded hammer spring, you can see what it's done to the aluminum there, eh? Did I just say A? I did. It's actually pounding that shape into the back of the valve here. That's actually a good thing, because now, previously this tit does not fit down. It won't go inside this pinhole. So it's making its own hole as we speak, extending the hammer strike. But in my previous tests, I still didn't get the FPS I wanted. I still haven't received the upgraded. So I have one more spring coming. It seems to be stuck in mail. It says it's here in town, but it said that for a week. So I took a little bit of Rune's advice, tried to heavy the hammer up. I put a 12.7 millimeter steel ball bearing in there, just like that. So essentially I'm shimming this spring, but I also added 8.4 grams of weight to this hammer. Now it still doesn't, with this ball bearing inside, it doesn't equal 136 grams like this one does. You'll have to do the math. That's like, it weighs like 66 grams now. Not even half the weight of this one. But it was the only ball I had. So I bought some 14 millimeter ball bearings that I have not even tried yet. These are 11 grams, so it's gonna add a little bit more weight. Not very much, but a little. Question is, will they fit? I got oil on my hands now. Will they fit inside the hammer? Did I measure correctly? Oh, rolled away. Dang it, didn't fit. Guess I should have got the 13 millimeter. Well, you know what? They do say there's an error in a plus or minus here. So let's just see, do any of these fit? Nope. 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 Well, I should have got the 13 mils. So we're gonna go back to the 12.7 millimeter. And that's the end of this video. See ya. No, just kidding. But once again, I'm screwed. So you don't get to see an improvement. But what I will do is I'm going to put it all back together here. And we will do over with the 3.7 grams and the Byrna Kinetics. But I think I'll do it with 12 grams CO2 just to make this video something instead of nothing.
Well, it just wasn't meant to be. Today, that is. Yeah, sometimes things just don't work out, and you know, my measuring stick is different from your measuring stick. And yeah, any case, there are some things I need to consider. So the ball bearing that didn't fit and the ball bearing that does fit, with the spring that I have in place, may change when I get the heavier spring. So I may not even need that ball bearing. The ball bearing was mainly to add weight to the hammer. Will that extra weight be required with a heavier spring than what I have installed now? Well, that remains to be seen. Just gotta wait for the postman. So 3.7 gram rye balls, 12 grams CO2. My best on that 1100 PSI tank was 35 joules. As tested today, I lost about 2.5 joules, which is significantly less of a loss than I normally experience. So far, the fatter spring is doing better, more of what I want. With that, let's just test it with CO2. Can it do better than, I think it was 32.5 is what I got today. So she's cocked, aired up. She's armed. $408. Not as high, or was that? I don't know. I can't even remember now. You'll get to see the numbers on the screen. 402. 400. I have 15 rounds in here. Ow. It is only a 12 gram CO2, just curious what we're at now. 306, and that was the last shot. You could hear the hammer stutter there. That means she's out. So it's using a whole lot more juice. Would it do better on a 90 gram like the Byrna Mission 4 is set up for? Yes, probably. Let's try the burner rounds before I go. Quick count of the riot balls that were remaining. I had 2 remaining, so it fired 12 on a 12 gram. Obviously, probably the last, me guessing just by the sound, 4 weren't all that powerful. So Byrna Kinetics, loaded up. Brand new Crossman 12 gram in here. 500 was tops on the Byrna Kinetics, so they're 2.9 grams. Nah. $436. 436. So it really does like the 1100. I think 12 grams just too small for the modifications I've done. I don't have any 16 gram. I don't think I have any 90 gram either to test, unfortunately. But I'm sure 90 gram would probably do a whole lot better. I only loaded 13 Byrna kinetics in there. So let's see. We'll at least keep the same count, shot count. That was the last one. She stuttered. Oh, one left. Is it one left? Just one left. So it shot 12 that time. Well, guys, stay tuned for updates. Yeah, I'm waiting for the spring. Waiting for another ball bearing size, apparently. And I have a tighter barrel coming. So, can we hit 40? I really want to see 40. I mean, I'm happy if I can get this. I think originally I said I just wanted to get back to 37, and the 35 was, I was very happy with it. Now it's dropped to 32 and a half on the 1100, but a much smaller difference over time. So I'm making progress. See ya.